Hey everybody, Signet here with the Bullish Bears. In this video, I'm going to show you how I put together a chart like this and how you can start putting together a chart like this as well. Okay, so one of the main things to be able to do a chart like this is you need a broker that has reasonably decent drawing tools, which means you're not going to be able to do this on Robinhood, for an example. But other than Robinhood, most brokers are going to give you some opportunity to draw or annotate on the chart. And that's really the key thing that you need to be able to put this together. I can't stress enough. You want to build these charts in a way that becomes universal. So focus on a template. And the template doesn't have to be like what you see on the screen, but this is what I've been trying to do consistently. The reason you want it to be consistent is so that when you go from company to company or chart to chart, that your eyes automatically go to the same places to find the kind of information that you found important enough to actually put on the chart. So for an example, earnings per share or same sales growth, I would also add something like new subscribers, depending on what the product is. Whatever the year over year growth, that's what you want to put down in the lower portion of the screen. At least that's where I put it. Uh, I want to go back at least 4 years, not counting the day that or the year that we're in right now. So you can see that I've got 2016, 17, 18, 19, and then of course we're in the year 2020. So I've got the fifth year and the numbers so far for the year. Another thing that I try to put on here is what the company sector is and what industry that company belongs to. Don't assume that you know the answer. For an example, Starbucks is restaurant and leisure. If that surprises you, just think about how many other companies you think you know what they do and what industry and sector they're in, and then you turn out that you really don't. Okay. Another example is a lot of the credit card companies. They're not actually listed in finance, but rather they're listed in IT. Okay. So put it on there. Put it on there so that you can look and you can see at a glance what sector it is that the company belongs to and what industry it is that the company belongs to. For me, I like to find the industry rank and the sector rank and then the overall rank. I try to put all of that on the left side of the screen. I consider it to be like an introduction to whatever company it is that I'm doing chart work for. I always want to glance on that side of the screen to get a broad overview of the company that I'm looking at, and that's where I put that information. Again, you don't have to build your chart the way that I'm building it, but you do want to try to find some consistency. I try to find estimated forward projections of profit and growth. I like to have those across the screen, moving from left to right, so I can, at a glance, I can look down at the bottom and see what we have been doing, and then I can look across the top and see what we're expected to do. If it has dividends, try to find out how consistent the company is with those dividends. Dividends can be ranked like you see here, the dividend growth, safety, yield, consistency. There's a quant rating. For me, this is the help that I receive while I'm learning how to do my own fundamental analysis. I'm not shy about saying that I have a lot to learn when it comes to understanding the financial analysis. There are so many different formulas and economic theory that you can crawl through that I need some guidance along the way. And so finding a quant rating and getting that put into a report card style A, B, C, D, and F gives me a summary of the information that we're gathering. Okay. From there, I try to find key things to focus on. I always want to try to identify risk. So when I do, I highlight that in a way that I can keep circling back to it. And the reason for that is you will see headline articles that if you try to click on it, there's no story behind it. It's because an algorithm will just grab things that it believes are headlines from other news sources and it will publish that. Those headlines are often all the news that you need. So when you see that, for an example, subscriber services are down in Netflix, you know that they might not be hitting their subscriber numbers. You could start to dig deeper into that. But you need to know what the thing is, the widget, the one thing that the company is highly focused on, so that when they start to slip or miss their numbers, the information's out there, guys. So identify what the risk is. If there's any large partnerships that you can find out about, put that on there. I try to hunt for any kind of buyback information. If a company is running stock buybacks, I try to find it. If it has recently halted its buybacks, I try to find that. You want that on your chart somewhere. Are they running buybacks? Are they not running buybacks? It's not a key thing that they are or not. I won't avoid a company that doesn't have buybacks, or I don't try to target companies with it or without it. It's just a key piece of data that I want to have. I put it on my chart. So we're going to move off of this chart now, and we're going to go over to MU. This is no. Let's go to Zoom. Okay, Zoom Video Communications. It has a Schwab equity rating of C. Now, this is something that I'm just looking to start adding to charts. I haven't been adding it yet. And there was a request for how to put these charts together, or how I'm putting these charts together. And that's kind of the basis behind this video. So let's go look at where I'm getting the information. This is my Schwab account. All right, now you don't necessarily need to have Schwab. You can find the same information at TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Fidelity. All of those brokers are going to have similar or exact tools that we're going to be using today. So the Schwab equity rating came from right here, and that's going to be a new thing that I'm going to start adding into what I put on the charts. Now, what we want to focus on now is, where did a lot of that data come from? I have a lot of resources. Okay, I can go to Seeking Alpha, IBD, Earnings Whisper. I've got a lot of places that I can go, but those places are costly, and those costs add up. So what I want to try to help you guys with is finding that data for free, for a way for you to be able to do this kind of work and not have to spend a lot of money on all of those background and research firms. So you can see that down here we got the Schwab equity rating, and here's the report that goes with that rating. Now their ranking, they give it a C, and now we could click on this and find out why they gave this company a C, or we could just go in and see their report. It's a PDF document, which means we can download that and hold on to it and refer back to it later on when a new report comes out. So let's just go ahead and open up that. It's labeled at the top. You can download a lot of different PDFs from the broker, so make sure you're looking at the one that you think you are. In this report, here's the C. All right. Market performance, percentile ranking number 53. It got a C, which is hold, not buy, Not outperform or strongly outperform, but just market perform, hold. It's a hold rating. Last week, it had a percentile rank of 47. Now, I say last week, but the date, right? This report was 10/2. I'm filming this on 10/4. The previous rank was a 47, and that was done on 9/25. It's looking at the equities prospects for stock price appreciation over the next 12 months in relation to its market peers. All right. The volatility outlook, above average volatility. If you haven't seen my volatility videos yet, let me translate that word for you. Above average expectation of movement. Volatility on a chart is nothing more than the measurement between the closing prices. So when we talk about volatility, unless the word historic or average is placed in there, then we're talking about the expectation of price movement from one close candle to the next. Okay, when volatility goes up, that means we're expecting a greater distance between the close of one candle and the close of a next candle. It is that basic. So don't get hung up on the idea that you need to know options logic or understand volatility formulas and volatility calculations. We're talking about stock. We're talking about volatility measured off of a stock chart. No option talk here in this discussion. So volatility, closing price to closing price, the forward expectation of movement. And right now there is a high above average price volatility. And when we go and look at a candle chart, what we would see is that the candles right now from closing price to closing price has a greater distance than at a previous time when it was perhaps not so high or not above average. So right here we have the sector, the industry, and you could get into the sub-industry. Okay, I don't normally get my data for the sector and the industry from this particular report. One thing I do want to talk about when it comes to these reports, try to be consistent in the reports that you use. For an example, I went to Schwab and I downloaded Schwab's report. But there's another one that I also like that Schwab offers, and it's, let's scroll down to it, CFRA. These reports from CFRA are mind-blowing, amazing reports. I can't believe they're free. I don't even know how that's possible, but it's awesome and I love it. So I always I download this report and I look at it. You're going to notice that a lot of the things that is on one report are on another report, and that's fine. Remember at the bottom of that chart that we were looking at on Walmart, I had revenue and earnings per share from previous years. Well, it's right here. Okay, that's where I get that data. While I'm here on this particular report, here's the highlights. They point out why they think this is a good market or a good company or a good stock, and then they point out what risks they're focused on. All right, so this is where the data is coming from, guys. And a lot of the things that I'm doing is I'm just copying the data and posting it onto the chart. That's all. Just copy and paste. So let's go back over here and let's find something to copy and paste. So one of the things that I'm going to copy and paste is the risk assessment. And you can see that it is assessing the risk of this company in relation to its peers. It's not all about looking at the candle chart, guys. You want to find the information that tells you about this company. There is absolutely nothing on a candle chart that will indicate if a company can double in price. Nothing. The only way that you can assess whether a company could double in price is going to be from the fundamental data. Does it have room to grow? What kind of risk is involved? How is it going to make money in a virus marketplace? When it comes to investing, it really comes down to your understanding and absorption of information. A lot of reading. Really, that's what it comes down to. A lot of reading. Understanding what a company does at its very basic core, and then looking at what you think that company can do in the future. You're not always going to get it right, but that's because there are risk factors that can kick in. They could lose their supply chain. Somebody could create a product that makes that product that you're trying to trade obsolete. They could have troubles with their corporation headquarters. The CEO or one of their main public figures. There's all kinds of things that could make you fail in your trades, but if you're picking companies and trading them or investing in them because you like them and you haven't read anything about them and you don't know anything about them and you don't know anything about the kind of money that they're bringing in and the money that they're spending, then you're going to fail at this. So when you're gathering information and you're looking to build a chart that looks perhaps like my Walmart chart, ask yourself, what information do you think is important? If you wanted to trade Walmart or invest in Walmart, they're going to need to convince you that there's room for growth, that they can do better in the future, or at least continue to make money. In the current market, for me, a lot of times it comes down to asking the question, how are you going to make money in a virus economy? If everything goes on lockdown, or if we stay with the social distancing measures, how are you as a company going to make money? Does it increase your opportunities or decrease your opportunities? Do you have divisions that are going to get hurt? For an example, Disney. Disney is in a really good position because of its streaming services and because of the video production companies that they own. But on the other hand, they have cruise lines and they have theme parks. And those cruise lines and theme parks are very expensive and they're not making money, right? So find information that you believe is relevant while continuing to ask questions. Look for answers. The information that you're looking for is out there. And you want to start building the chart with that in mind. You will not get this right away. It takes time and it takes persistence. You got to keep doing these charts over and over. As you continue to make these charts, you will start to develop a template. You'll start to do things consistently the same time. You can't get there on day one. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn how to do this by doing this one step at a time. So I've shown you where you can get your free data. It doesn't have to be just on Schwab. You can get it from almost any big name broker out there. And I have all of those. This is an unfunded account, so you don't have to go and put money into a broker to have access to these tools. I have E-Trade, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Tastyworks, Interactive Brokers, Ninja Trader, Robinhood, Webull. Guys, most of those accounts are not funded. They don't need to be. And these brokers have tactics, strategies, scans, educational software, videos, webinars, and economic reports. You can get stock reports, investment profiles, analyst reports, research reports. It's all free. So go get that and start digging through the data, reading these reports, and then building a chart that puts all of that information in one location where you can see price action with it and then make the determination. Do I believe in this company enough to put my money in it, to buy some of it, and then start building a trading plan? I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video.